For the past 3 years, buying enterprise AI was simple. You just chased the smartest model. But the arms race has effectively stabilized into a dead heat. Raw intelligence parity between OpenAI's ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude is officially a reality. Look at these intelligence benchmarks. Claude Opus 4.6 and GPT-5.4 lock in with identical top-tier scores. When numbers are this close, the gap isn't raw intelligence. You cannot buy a structural advantage based on reasoning alone, because competition has the exact same baseline capabilities. Instead, the central decision for enterprise AI buyers in 2026 comes down to a completely different trade-off entirely: breadth versus depth. You are looking at two different architectural philosophies. ChatGPT has evolved into a generalist ecosystem, while Claude has specialized as a deep work engine. Buying AI based on smartness misses the point. Real return on investment now depends on matching the engine's architecture to the specific daily tasks your team actually executes. Take legal, financial, and research professionals. Their daily friction point usually isn't generating a clever email, it's processing massive, highly complex document sets without missing a detail. This graphic shows the difference in context limits. While a 128,000 token window is large, Claude's capacity scales up to 1 million tokens. In practice, that means you can load a 150-page contract alongside a full corporate knowledge base, and the model can cross-reference everything simultaneously without losing coherence or dropping facts from earlier in the prompt. Independent testing consistently shows Claude operates with superior fidelity when following strict multi-step system instructions, and its baseline writing style leans naturally toward a clean, professional tone. But there is a clear operational trade-off. Claude sacrifices native multimodal creation. If you want a pie chart, generate an image, or an audio clip directly within the chat interface, you cannot do it. For teams whose core output relies on the synthesis of heavy text and complex logic, Claude's reasoning capacity generally offsets the lack of creative multimedia tools. Contrast that with marketing, sales, and creative teams. Their primary friction point is the need to iterate diverse, multi-format assets rapidly. This is where ChatGPT's integrated multimodality dominates. It has tools like DALL-E, Sora, and Voice baked directly into the platform. You can draft a campaign strategy, generate the hero images, and spin up video assets all inside a single conversational thread. It also connects to a vast ecosystem of custom GPTs and external plugins, allowing you to pull in data from platforms like HubSpot or Slack directly. The trade-off here is analytical rigor at scale. Feed a 500-page technical manual into ChatGPT, and it will struggle to maintain coherence compared to Claude. It also carries a higher premium per seat cost at the enterprise level. However, if a team is constantly churning out multi-format assets and needs out-of-the-box connections, ChatGPT's ecosystem speed and versatility provide the most direct path to productivity. Software engineering presents a split landscape. The friction here comes down to balancing raw terminal execution speed against the need to reason across multiple files in a complex codebase. For automating terminal-heavy DevOps workflows, OpenAI's specialized GPT-5.5 Codex model is currently the fastest and most efficient tool available. But for untangling legacy architecture or executing multi-file code-based reasoning, Anthropic's Sonnet 4.6 consistently scores higher on software engineering benchmarks. This chart plots API cost efficiency against analytical depth. Notice how Sonnet 4.6 lands entirely on its own. It delivers near-flagship reasoning performance at a fraction of the cost of top-tier models. Meanwhile, GPT-5.5 Codex holds its own distinct position when optimizing for raw execution speed. Achieving state-of-the-art coding automation in 2026 means you can't just pick one vendor. Engineering teams have to actively manage and route tasks between different APIs depending on the specific job. Leaders need to evaluate whether their primary bottleneck is terminal speed or architectural debugging. Forcing a single blanket coding AI across all tasks will only slow developers down. Finally, we have to look at enterprise IT and procurement. Their friction point is figuring out how to integrate these tools securely into existing tech stacks at a viable scale. ChatGPT Enterprise offers a frictionless deployment advantage for companies already operating inside the Microsoft ecosystem. Its deep integration with Azure and Microsoft 365 Copilot makes rollout relatively seamless. Claude Enterprise takes a different architectural approach, heavily emphasizing its HIPAA-ready compliance out of the box, strict data retention controls, and secure, ad-free workspaces. This matrix highlights the core feature differences, from technical certifications down to specific per-seat pricing models. A typical ChatGPT Enterprise seat runs between $45 and $75. Claude Enterprise starts at a lower base cost of around $30. Deploying ChatGPT locks a company deeper into Microsoft's infrastructure and generally requires higher seat minimums to get started. Claude gives you better pricing flexibility for mid-market teams, but connecting it to your existing internal productivity software often requires manual API integration. Procurement teams have to base their final choice on their existing infrastructure footprint and regulatory strictness, rather than letting the sticker price make the decision for them. It is incredibly common for enterprises to default to purchasing ChatGPT solely because of its brand recognition. If you do that, you risk overpaying for generalist creative features your team might never use, while missing out on the specialized deep reasoning tools they actually need. This flowchart simplifies the decision. You have to start by identifying your primary daily friction, which generally splits into either deep analysis or broad creation. If your return on investment depends on complex coding, deep logical analysis, and securely reading massive documents, your path leads directly to Claude Enterprise. If success relies on creative generation, broad agent integrations, and out-of-the-box Microsoft compatibility, you need ChatGPT Enterprise. Before signing a multi-year enterprise contract or committing to a large API spend, run a mandatory one-week audit of your team's specific daily tasks. Take a look at what they actually do. The competitive advantage in 2026 belongs to the organizations that prioritize workflow alignment. Success is defined by how well a company matches its AI architecture to the daily reality of its users.